have a better score later. Now let's see how Mario Gonzalez does for Penn State on the high bar.
Mario's a big kid, and he has a nice, long swing. Those straddle giant swings are called stalders. He really knows how to do those very well. And again, another stalder. There's a one-arm. Now, he's out of line on those one-arm giants. That's going to cost him a little. There's a reverse hecht. Once again, a stalder. And another stalder. There's the eagle giant swings. And once again, a stalder. This time, he misses it. He's a little out of position. This exercise isn't going as smoothly as he'd like. And short on the layout double. That's going to cost him.
Mario Gonzalez of Penn State. They were in the thick of it after 3, but an 8.75 for Gonzalez on the high bar. That's going to hurt the Penn State cause. Well, next up will be Tony Pineda on the parallel bars, and Pineda has had himself quite a list of injuries that indicate how tough this sport really is. You really can't imagine until you see some things close up. Looking back at his performance in 1984 on the high bar as a freshman for UCLA gives you a pretty good example, and his reaction to it.
Sometimes I think that I won't make it to 30 without a cane. Sometimes I just wonder, what is it going to be about me when I quit the sport?
You really wreck your body. And I mean, these days I feel like I'm aging much too quick. I get up in the mornings, my bones are creaking.
Gymnastics has always been considered a finesse sport. But as you can see here, there's plenty of contact in the sport of gymnastics. Sometimes it's short landings. Sometimes the ankles just won't do it. And the tremendous impact on the landings.
The idea is to get strong, and the stronger you are, the less injuries you have. But also, the harder you work, the more injuries you get. You have chronic things that always seem to nag, and then one good spill, a good fall off the high bar, or anything for that matter, you can hurt something, and that'll be with you for a long time.
In order for gymnasts to compete with the best in the world, they have to do the big tricks, and sometimes that can be a pain.
I know that while I was training and working really hard, I'd wake up in the morning and I felt like I'd been through a war every morning. And I have to be honest with you, now that I'm not competing anymore, when I wake up, I feel great.
And so Tony Pineda now ready to go on the parallel bars for UCLA. And don't forget, he's coming off that 9-3 performance on the floor, Bart. I wonder if he'll be bothered by that.
He seems to be right on in this P-bar routine so far. He did really nice giant swings early in the exercise. There's a beautiful peach basket. Straddle cut to an L. So far, this thing is very clean. Press to a handstand. A little short on that handstand. Good stutz. Here's a double back. And he nails it.
Tony Pineda, great job on the parallel bars. He limped to the bars. Don't forget, he's coming off that rather poor score on his floor X. It looks like he's rebounded beautifully.
Here's the press to the handstand. He should actually hold that for 2 seconds. It looked a little short. There's a good stutz right to the top. Here's the double back. Good form in the air and a great landing.
Well, let's see if the judges were as sharp-eyed as you were, Bart. There's Tony Pineda still limping. That injury suffered during the floor. 9.9 for Tony Pineda, his second 9.9 of this meet. And the Bruins fans here at UCLA respond. Now the pressure clearly on Nebraska and this young man, Terry Gillespie.
Now, Nebraska needs a very big performance right here in the vault. And that's not going to do it. That was a weak vault for Terry Gillespie, and I know he's been hurt all week.
Well, yet another example of what a tough sport this is. Gillespie, with all that pressure on him, and playing hurt as well, and just an 8.8 for Gillespie. Better than Kirksey's 8.7, which they'll drop, but not good enough for Nebraska to keep the lead. And so after 4, here's how it looks. UCLA is now in first place. The campus campus of UCLA, set of the 1984 Olympic Games and the men's gymnastics competition. Our Bart Connor was a gold medal winner here, as was his teammate Tim Daggett and the entire men's team. And Tim Daggett, now an assistant coach of the Bruins gymnastics team here at UCLA, and his team is in first place after 4 rotations, moving ahead of Nebraska and Penn State. UCLA will move to the high bar now, and on parallel bars, it'll be Nebraska's Kevin Davis.
Kevin is having a terrific day, and this is definitely one of his best events. There's a glide kip on one rail to a handstand on the single rail. That full twist is a move called a Diamidov, invented by a Russian. Those 2 moves there are basically reverse Diamidovs. It's a move called a Healy. This exercise is right on. It's very clean. Nice handstand positions, good toe point. Chuck double back. 1 hop on the landing, but a great routine.
Francis Allen on his feet, applauding that effort by Davis.
Here's the double back. A little sloppy in the air, but it goes so quickly the judges never see it.
Kevin Davis, a 9-9 on the parallel bars, and that gets the attention of UCLA coach Art Sherlock. The Cornhuskers conceding nothing. Now Tony Pineda, what a day he's having. He's got 2 9-9s to his credit, and here he is on the high bar.
Watch how fast he swings. Here's one-arm giants to a one-arm reverse heck. That move is so hard out of 2 arms, and yet he can do it off of 1. There's the eagle giant swings. He's a little loose, but he swings so quickly, he's very dynamic.
Tony Pineda of UCLA. When you're hot, you're hot. What a rebound from his problems on the floor.
This move is amazing. From a one-arm giant, he pulls, does a reverse act over the bar, and he barely catches it.
9-8 for Tony Pineda. 2 9-9s to his credit already. When you're hot, you're hot. Spider Maxwell of Penn State on the vault.
Well, Spider's trying to keep his team in the running, and he actually does a very nice vault there.
The winner of the Nissen Award looks a little unhappy with his effort. Looked good to us. Curtis Holdsworth up for UCLA. 9-5-5 the score for Spider Maxwell on the vault. Holdsworth for UCLA up onto the high bar. UCLA in the lead.
And we've talked all day about the importance of Tony Pineda, but here's a guy, Curtis Holdsworth, who has had a terrific day, and he has been a key player because he's been so solid all the way across the board. Good release move, excellent form. He's a very stylish gymnast. Now that's a cool move. That was called a Takamoto, invented by the Japanese gymnast Takamoto. He did it with a 1 arm. And a nice laid out double somersault.
Curtis Holdsworth, the UCLA sophomore. And as you pointed out, another solid performance. You know, these guys are starting to look and feel like winners of this competition. There's a lot of confidence there. 9-7-5 for Holdsworth on the high bar. And so UCLA continues to lead after 5 rotations. Nebraska second, Penn State falling back. Tim Ryan and Bart Connor at Pauley Pavilion, site of this year's NCAA Men's Gymnastics Championships. And the UCLA Bruins pumped up here as they go into the final rotation. Nebraska's team a little bit anxious, a little bit worried here as they try and catch the Bruins. There are the standings after 5 rotations. UCLA on top, and they will be on the vault. Nebraska, the high bar. Penn State moves to the parallel bars. Tony Pineda, the junior, will be on the vault for UCLA. Back in 1984, the first and only time that they have won the national championship. Pineda was just a freshman that year in the shadow of the likes of Mitch Gaylord and Tim Daggett. He is very much in the spotlight this afternoon.
Oh, and what a nice high vault. That was a laid-out Sukahara. And keep in mind, he had sprained his ankle earlier in the competition, but it didn't seem to bother him there at all.
What a day he's having. Tony Pineda, the Bruin junior. You get it going, you get it going.
He has good speed here, terrific push, and look at the position in the air. He handles the landing very well.
Sore ankle and all. And Art Sherlock, the UCLA coach, is saying, boy, I'd like to have this kind of performance every week from Tony Pineda and the rest of my gang. 9-4, not a great score, but probably enough if they can all back him up in this event part. Now, meanwhile, the pressure continues on Nebraska. Tom Schlesinger, he's having a fine afternoon for the Cornhuskers, now on the high bar.
He is having a terrific day, and this is probably his best event. There's a full over to a one-arm and a one-arm Ginger. Terrific move. A flyaway with a half twist invented by Eberhard Ginger from West Germany. These are German giant swings. You're back to the bar, very difficult on your shoulders. Hard on your body. Good speed on the Giants, and a laid-out double flip. Nice landing. What a great routine.
Solid show by Tom Schlesinger on the most exciting and dangerous event in gymnastics, the high bar.
He's really keeping his team in contention with a routine like this. And notice the perfect position in the air, and that's how you nail a landing.
9-8-5 for Tom Schlesinger. Good job by this young man. And as we've commented, he's just been solid all day long. Now, here's Luke Turlings. You know, he may not be the best known of these UCLA gymnasts, but he can get it done.
Oh, and what a great ball. That was a half-half front in the pike position. Best one I've ever seen him do.
In a team competition, you've got to have this kind of depth, this kind of performance from all of your athletes.
He has good height, and he really pulled the landing around.
Luke Turlings gets a 9.55. He's from Belgium. You'll be seeing him in the 1988 Olympic Games representing his home country. Now Neil Palmer moving to the high bar for Nebraska.
I mentioned earlier that Palmer's a big guy, and you see him on rings. Generally, the bigger guys have trouble. Well, on high bar, they have an advantage because of that long, fluid swing. There's a nice sequence. One-arm Giants to a Ginger. But notice a nice position. Really big swing. A hop pirouette. He's setting up for the dismount. A full twisting double and a great job on the stick.
Neil Palmer wants to be a pro football player. His last collegiate competition. The senior and leader of this Nebraska team.
Here's the dismount. He lets go, does two flips, one twist, and he has perfect form in the air. It's nice to see that kind of execution.
9.7. Fine performance for Neil Palmer. Will it be enough? Nebraska trying to catch UCLA in this final rotation. Meanwhile, Spider Maxwell of Penn State, they're pretty much out of the chance to win this whole thing. They have been tough competitors all day long, Bart.
Spider begins his exercise with a press to a handstand on one bar. There's one of those Healy twirls, two of them, very nicely done. Here's a straddle cut to an L, press handstand. Okay, a hop on the double back, but a pretty clean exercise.
Oh, there's a proud and determined Penn State team applauding their outstanding Nissen Award winner, Spider Maxwell.
Here's the glide on one bar. Now he turns down the length of the rails and presses to a handstand here. A move that I used in competition.
9-7 for Maxwell.
Very proud of you. Everything. You made this thing.
We scared a lot of people.
So much for the West Coast, huh? Good job, man.
You had fun doing it, too.
Proud representatives from the East, Penn State. What a job they did today. Now here's David St. Pierre and another of the outstanding young competitors on this UCLA team, representing the depth they've had all day long, Bart.
And what a great vault he just did. I think this kid has a terrific amount of potential.
David St. Pierre and the Bruins and their fans recognizing a performance which should clinch this championship for them. 9-5 for David St. Pierre. And that does it for UCLA. They are the 1987 NCAA Men's Gymnastics champions. So we'll be back here at Pauley Pavilion to talk to the winners. UCLA with Nebraska second and Penn State third.